Right, I might split this up into multiple videos because there's quite a lot to do with this, but what I'm going to have a look at is how you turn a basic block into a pattern. So I've got the, can you hear that plane? No, probably not. I've got the block that I created from our spreadsheet, remember this thing, and I've imported it into my graphics package, and this is correct, this is 1-to-1 size, so this is physically quite large. For example, let's have a look. If I click on that is 50 centimeters by 55, so it's half a meter square, that is. So it's a big sheet of paper, so it's full size, and we're going to have a look at putting some stuff in. So we'll start with the easy stuff. I'm using Xara, but the same thing will work with Illustrator or any sort of vector package. And the free one is Inkscape, isn't it? Inkscape, which I've not used for a while, but I'm sure it'll do all of this stuff. So let's start with the simple bits with these necklines here. Sorry, these openings. So this, remember, this is the back of this is the back panel here that you can see, and this is the front panel. And if you remember, because these are based on sort of sewing blocks, they have darts in. There's several darts in this. One massive dart at the front, and this is to turn a two-dimensional flat piece of cloth into a 3D, so you can join that up, sew that, and all the rest of it, right? We can't do that with latex. We've got to get rid of these dots, so we'll come on to that. So this is the back, and this is the back neckline. So let's just draw in a curve, a nice smooth curve for the neckline. So I use what's called a spline tool. They call it a shape tool here. I'll show you. You just draw a line there. I've got the snap on, but I always do it this way. I'll snap it to that point there. Okay, so at the moment that's a straight line. Now what you have to remember, of course, I say of course, is that what you do is you only construct half of it, half the panel. So when you mark it out, you just have half the panel, and then you flip it. You flip it about this center line. So you've got to imagine that this is flipped. So let's just zoom back in again. So you can imagine if you flipped this over, it'd be a V, wouldn't it? It'd be a sort of horrible V. So you've got to put a nice sort of curve there. Now this thing here, you can actually just grab the curve and bend it. Okay, like that, and so on. Or you can pull what are called handles, and these are tangent points, what's called tangent points. You don't necessarily need to know that, but you can move them, and you can sort of get the feel for it as you pull them. It pulls the curve around. So important things. This point here needs to be a smooth curve, and it will only be a smooth curve when this line here, this control line, is actually horizontal. Now I can snap to that, so that's now horizontal. So that is a nice smooth tangent point. And a similar thing here. Now think about it. This point, that's the neck line, and you've got another one. You're going to join another piece there, aren't you? So you've got to make sure that this curve follows smoothly around to the front. And how do you do that? Well, it'll be smooth when this line here, this control line, yeah, that one, you can just about see, can't you, the grey. When that control line is right angles to this, that'll be a smooth transition curve. Now I'm going to eyeball it, but you could construct it, but I'm not going to do that. So can you see that angle is about 90 degrees? So that will give a nice smooth curve to the curve coming in from the front. Okay, so that's important. So actually we might make it a bit, pull it a bit, I don't know. We can play with this later. But there you go, so that's two important things. This has to be horizontal, and this one has to be at right angles to the shoulder, and then that will form a nice smooth curve. Okay, same thing here at the front. So we'll do another one here. So I'll do the spline again, or shape tool they call it, going from there to there. I tend to do it just with 2 points. Well, let's make it red, and we'll change the size. Okay, and then we'll just pull that back and snap it to that point. So again, I can use these handle things. Can you see them? There they are. So as long as, same sort of thing, as long as this line here is at right angles to the shoulder, that'll be a smooth curve, and it's not too far away, is it? And then again here, because this is the neckline, remember, let's zoom out. This is what we're going to try and do. That's my sort of notes, if you like. So this is the neckline. So again, if we mirrored this about that line, we'd have this horrible sharp point. Well, it might, I mean, maybe you want to do that, but I'm not going to do that. I'm going to do a nice sort of smooth curve. So again, this line needs to be horizontal, and you can play with that and whatever, you know, something like maybe that. Okay, so there's my neckline. So if I flip that, there'll be a nice smooth curve going through. This is at right angles, so it'll join up to here when eventually you do that. So that's the necklines. Now the next thing to probably put in are these here. These are the arms, right? They call these the arm sky. I think it's a corruption of the words arm and eye. Anyway, because that's kind of like your arm's eye, isn't it? Anyway, it's called an arm sky. So we want a curve there as well. So same thing. We'll have a curve going from there through that point and through that point there, like that. Okay, just those 3 points. In fact, I might do, no, hang on, I'll do it differently. Undo, undo. I'm only going to go for these 2 points. The reason I do that, it's gone black again, hasn't it? Red, 2 points. The reason I do it like this, with just 2 points, is when you start to bend the curve, it's then much smoother. So we're going through those 2 points, and again, there's a few things we've got to think about here as well, because this is a shoulder. So a bit like before, there's that thing again, right? There's that control point. Now again, this line has got to be at right angles to the shoulder line. So that's a, you know, we've got to be sort of at right angles to that. And then again, this wants to, because that's going to flow through. Again, this line needs to be horizontal like that. Okay, but then the other thing is this curve's got to go through there as well, isn't it? It's got to go through that point. Now you could have done it as 3 points, but you get a smoother thing by just playing with these control points until you kind of force it through. Yeah, just eyeballing it really, something like that. Let's have a look. Yeah, that's pretty close, but that's not right now, is it? Get that horizontal again. Okay, that's looking okay. I think we'll go with that for now. And then the same sort of thing with here. It's going through there, and through there. So I'll do exactly the same. I'll go from there to there. 2 points again. This one's going to be at right angles to the shoulder line, which is kind of about there. This one's going to be horizontal, which is definitely there, and then it's got to go through that. Hang on, it's got to go through that point there, right? So let's just drag that a bit like that. What does that look like? That looks pretty terrible. So we'll sort of pull that back a bit. I'm eyeballing this, you know. I'm not constructing it. I'm doing it by eye. I mean, at the end of the day, you're going to cut this out of a piece of latex, aren't you, by hand with your roller cutter? So it's not going to be super accurate. So how does that compare with what I've got here? Yeah, looks about right. Oh, of course they're different sizes anyway. These are. This is a size 14. Anyway, that's our arm sky, and they're the sort of basic curves. In fact, I've just realised I've done the first one. I didn't need to do that. Never mind. No, it's okay. Right. Now, darts. Let's think about darts. How long are we going for? 10 minutes. I might just do a little bit more and then I'll split it into another video. Darts. We have got to get rid of these darts. These blocks are traditionally done for dressmaking. Okay, they don't make them for latex, and I guess these blocks have grown up over time, probably even over hundreds of years. I guess, I don't know. They work, you know, for the human body. But as I say, they're based around dressmaking, so these darts and things, they're no good to us. But you've got to allow for them. You've got to bring the latex in to allow for it to give you this three-dimensional nature. So let's start with the easy one. Now, this one here at the top shoulder is a very small one. So if you were sewing it, you join that to that, you know, sew that up or whatever. So the easiest way to deal with that one, because it's relatively small, is to literally remove it. So what I do, and again, this is not super high precision engineering or anything like that. I'm going to draw a line from there to there. I'll make it red again. I keep going back to this black colour, don't I? But each time you touch a line in Xara, it remembers it for the next time. Anyway, that's about the sort of length of the dart, isn't it? So what I'll do is I'll put it there, and then all I'm going to do is take this spline curve and I'm going to move it to that point. So in other words, we just shorten the shoulder by that amount. So I'll highlight the spline, go back into the spline tool and move it. So I'll pick it up and put it back there. Right, now the thing is, I've now missed that point, haven't I? So I'm going to have to readjust this. So I should have done this in the first place. I shouldn't have done it like this, should I? So we're trying to get through that point. We're pretty close. We're probably close enough, actually. I'm very sort of picky about these things, aren't I? I'm probably overly picky, really. Don't need to be this picky. Right, okay. So again, same sort of thing. That is at right angles to the shoulder. Pretty much is, as you can see. It goes through that point, and it's at right angles. So we've just basically reworked the arm sky to lose this seam. So that seam, this dart, that dart does not, we've got rid of it. Okay, so that's one. That's the easy one. Right. This one is the hardest one to get rid of. I wonder whether, actually we'll leave that for a minute. I'll just do the other one. We'll stick with this back piece. And what we'll do is, see this dart here at the bottom, that's quite a big dart as well, isn't it? We want to get rid of that as well. And the way we're going to do that is that this back panel is currently one piece. Well, what we're going to do is we're going to split it into two pieces, and we'll have a seam. In fact, you can look on this diagram here, see this? We're going to have a seam that goes right sort of partially up the arm. So we'll split it into two bits. Okay, now where you put the split is kind of up to you. We're going to put it there, we might as well. So again, I'm going to use this spline tool. Actually, let's do that. We'll select that. Okay, so we use this spline tool, and we're going to go from there to, I said there, didn't I? There. Okay, so just give it a little bend and show you what we're going to try and achieve. Oh, actually, we can do this by hand, can't we? We can, well, sort of like that, something like that. Okay, can you see what we've got there? I'm literally doing it by eye. I'm doing some. Now you can move this if you want as well. You can move this whole dart over. So Yeah, did I do it? I wonder if I did this like this before. I'm just thinking out loud. I think I did this slightly differently, you know. I know what I'm going to do. I'm going to change that. Forget that. Delete that. Delete that in a minute. Bear with me. Right. I remember what I did. Do it again, but we're going to go from there to there. Right, there's our spliny spline. Because I'm going to do this. Right. There's the control line. It's going to be vertical. I'm going to make it vertical. And then this one we're going to sort of tweak so it looks kind of nice, about like that. Okay. And the reason being that if you think about it, above this line here, that's the bust line, above that, this panel is completely flat. There is no curve. So that is literally just a cut, isn't it, through the latex. There's no three-dimensional nature to that. The three-dimensional closure is below this line. That's the bust line. It doesn't say on there, but it is. Okay, so I'm going to do it in two separate curves. So there's one curve. Now the reason I've made it vertical, the tangent will hopefully be clear in a minute. So we're going to do this one here. We'll go from there to the same point. Bang. Okay. Now the thing is, well, this is a separate curve, right? Big little bend like that. So what we're going to do again is make sure that this control line is vertical, which it is like that. And this one we can kind of just shape to whatever we feel appropriate, something like that. But because the control lines are both vertical for this one and that one, it means that's nice and smooth, it's tangent. So that's going to work. And then we'll do the other one. So we're going from there back to there again. There's the other one, and again this control line, this one, make that vertical like that. Boom. And on the bottom, well, we can sort of tweak it a bit if we want. Okay, so there's our, so now if you look at that, we've got two pieces, haven't we? The back panel is now a piece down here through that curve there and down there. That's one piece, and here's another piece here, and above the bust line they just joined. It's flat, the garment's flat there, but below the bust line you've got this dart, haven't you, that you effectively, so that's done, kind of. The only thing we need to check is, if you think about it, if you join these up, these pieces with your latex, you've got to make sure that the lengths of the pieces are the same, aren't they? Well, the one up here, it's the same curve, so obviously it's the same, but at the bottom this curve and that curve have got to be the same length. Now they're probably not far off, so if we just select it, that's 16.77 centimeters and this one is 16.78. okay, so there's 0.01 of a difference, nothing. Okay, so that's fine. So that is the back panel done. The back panel is composed of two pieces. Now we've got to do the front. So I'll leave that for the next video, and we'll do that as a separate thing. Okay.